It became apparent to people in South Central Los Angeles that the tobacco industry was advertising much more heavily in their neighborhoods than in more prosperous areas. And to the members of the Teen Tobacco Awareness Project, a group of Latino and African American teenagers, the tobacco industry's reasons were obvious.
The way that the advertisement is made is that they make it so that it appeals to youth. Like, it makes it seem like smoking is cool, like smoking is something that is fun, that people enjoy themselves when they smoke, that it's appealing to the opposite sex, that any time that there's cigarettes involved, or sometimes even alcohol, that there is always fun there.
The tobacco industry targets us in many different ways. First of all, with the billboards near our high schools and our communities, near the churches or playgrounds where kids usually hang out. And they also use sex appeal as well as athletics, saying that if we use this, if we smoke these cigarettes or if we drink this beer, we're going to look like them.
Showing people what the problem.
It was an issue that many individuals and organizations wanted to get involved in. The question was, how to get started. With the problem meticulously documented, the Teen Tobacco Awareness Project took their findings to their city council member, Rita Walters.
The youngsters from the coalition came to me and presented me with their findings, very professionally done, and asked for my assistance in contacting the billboard companies.
The coalition was successful in their fight against tobacco billboards.
I think we were successful because we used and stuck to the tenets of modern community organizing. We wanted to make sure that the relationship between the community and the billboard companies was different when we walked away from our campaign than it was when we got there.
In order for a poor community to take on the tobacco industry or the advertising industry and prevail, two things have to happen at least. One is a broad coalition needs to be established so that there is people power associated with the cause. And another is that alliances need to be forged, recognizing that the issue transcends any given neighborhood, and it's going to take people from across a community to be supportive before success is going to be achieved. But if one can get that people power engaged and develop those coalitions across a broad spectrum of elected officials and other public policymakers, there's great potential.
All across America, ordinary people have been beating the tobacco industry in their own communities.
The local level is the best level to do tobacco control. If you go into a state legislature or to Congress, the tobacco industry's forces and resources are much more effective than they are at the community level.
They are very effective at the federal level. They're fairly effective at the state level. When they get down to the local level, that's where they lose.
Concerned citizens had the Monterey Blues Festival cancel sponsorship by Benson and Hedges. People also prevailed on the San Diego Museum to cancel Philip Morris's sponsorship. Community mobilization convinced a cigarette manufacturer to drop a brand that targeted African Americans. Hundreds of California communities have passed laws keeping indoor air free from secondhand smoke. Philip Morris offered the Board Operations Committee of the Del Mar, California Fair $140,000 to sponsor Latino Day. The board accepted. Groups of outraged citizens made them reverse their decision. A Vietnamese community banned tobacco promotions at their New Year Tet Festival. In rural Amador County, California, 2 local storekeepers refused lucrative incentives from cigarette companies to place tobacco ads in their stores. A local group publicly recognized the 2 stores.
The tobacco industry, with all of its lawyers and all of its lobbyists and all of its public relations people and of all of its campaign contributions, can't stand up against a well-organized group of people who actually live in a community.
But even in the visible war, the tobacco industry is still an elusive opponent. After public outcry and a lawsuit got rid of Joe Camel, R.J. Reynolds simply came up with a different campaign.
I know the tobacco industry is claiming they're new, and they're claiming that the corporate culture is new. But the corporate culture that exists today is absolutely no different than the corporate culture was when I was in the industry and that existed in the 50s, and that is profit. Pure and simple, profit.
Image.
In remarks to the Washington Press Club in April 1998, Stephen Goldstone, chairman and CEO of R.J. Reynolds, had this to say about his company's image.
We will be a responsible corporate citizen while growing our tobacco brands and competing for the business of adult consumers. I have testified in Congress, and I firmly believe that marketing directed at children is not only illegal, it is immoral, it is unethical. Our tobacco company operates on these principles today, and we...
Should we believe the new corporate culture? Should we believe the CEO of R.J. Reynolds when he's on TV telling us that their corporate image is going to change? Well, I would ask how many billboards went up the day that he spoke. How much money did they use in advertising overseas to youth markets? Let's look at all those dollars, and let's look at the behavior versus what they say. They behave in a way that there's no difference.
Our market is not kids. Our market is trying to reach 35 million smokers who smoke another brand.
I've seen all those big ads that the tobacco industry puts out there. It says, we don't want teenagers to smoke. We want adults to smoke. And how many teenagers read the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times today? Versus how many teenagers read, Sports Illustrated and YM today and saw all those advertisements. So what they're telling you as an adult is one thing. What they're doing is another.
The implication is that we're somehow doing something sinister.
The tobacco industry is telling us that it's changed. But as the industry fights to protect its profits, the pressures on it haven't changed. Tobacco companies still need to recruit new smokers. They still need to reverse their defeats at the community level. So it's unlikely that the tobacco industry is going to stop its hidden war.
That's the key to the tobacco industry. Don't believe what they say. Watch what they do.